Good, Dave?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Hey, good morning. State Representative Blaine Wilhour here with the Illinois Freedom Caucus and our special guests, Nicole Georgius and her family. Also, Shannon Adcock with Awake Illinois, and our good friend Abigail Wheeler, who we did a press conference with last year. So the last year has been a defining time for our country. We've had a national debate on wokeism, DEI, and keeping males out of female spaces. The contrast between the two sides could not have been more clear, and it's no accident that the successful Trump campaign, their last advertisement simply stated, Kamala is for they, them, President Trump is for you. It's a simple message, but it's powerful. People are done with this nonsense. Common sense and common decency won. It won big at the ballot box. The woke experiment in the United States and in Illinois is over. President Trump couldn't have been more clear. Get DEI, get the woke social engineering out of the schools, or risk federal funding cuts to education. The people have had enough of watching this state go down the drain. People are struggling with real problems that the government created. But we can't fix our problems. We can't return to reasonable because we have a governor, J.B. Pritzker, who's more interested in being DEI activist of the year than he is in fixing our problems or protecting young girls. The question is, and we're here in front of Governor Pritzker's office, is Governor Pritzker okay with what's happening in Deerfield? It's the kind of stuff that he's cheerleaded since he's been here since 2019. Does J.B. Pritzker believe these girls? Maybe you guys in the media should do your job and ask him, because I don't think anyone has, and that's not okay. Now, you know, some people would look at this group of legislators up here, the ones that are obsessed with identity politics, and may ask why all the men legislators up here talking about this. I think a better question around this state and around this country is, where are all the men? Where are the men in Deerfield? Where are the men in this legislature? Where are the men in the governor's mansion? Now, we love and we admire these brave women who have stood up and have been standing up for so many years. You know, but the men need to step up. We need to step up, and we need to protect these girls from the institutions that have put gender ideology over the best interest of these girls. Now, Nicole is going to tell her story, but what happened to these girls in Deerfield, it's not okay. It's sick. Students deserve an education that's free from social experimentation, and we are committed, us legislators here, we're committed to ensure that there is a rigorous, independent investigation of what's gone on in Deerfield and in other places, and we are committed to ensuring that the people who committed these acts are fired. Not only are they fired, but they are stripped of any taxpayer benefits. We need to send a clear message in this state and in this country that there's zero tolerance for this kind of abuse in our government schools. And I want to welcome up here Shannon Adcock from Awake, Illinois. Shannon?
Thank you so much, Blaine, for your leadership, and to all of the gentlemen here, and to all of the families of Illinois that have come out in support of the Georgius family, the families that have seen all of these wrongs for many years in the state of Illinois, and certainly Awake Illinois has come alongside you. But to Blaine's point, more people are needed. We need all hands on deck right now for families like Nicole and for all families around the state of Illinois who reject this wokeism, who reject the assault on their God-given parental rights, like with this House Bill 2827, which must be stopped. So we need all hands on deck. This is really a rally call to say we are on the right side of literally every issue we have been tackling over these last 5 years. So take comfort in that, and please make courage a habit, because Illinois needs you. And if you need to know what it looks like to be courageous and to be a role model for your family and for the state, look no further than the people standing here today. Thank you.
Nicole?
Hi,
Hi, my name is Nicole Georges. It's an honor to be here today, and I would like to thank Congressman Adam Niemerg and Blaine Wilhour from the Freedom Caucus for having me here to speak. My name is Nicole Georges, and I'm a mom of 4 from Deerfield, Illinois. My family and I have lived in Deerfield for over 20 years. On February 5th, my daughter was using the female bathroom and was stunned that a biological male was using it as well. She came home frightened and extremely upset. I asked her to talk with her teachers and to find out a little bit more information. She was told that the students can use the bathroom, that the student can use the female bathroom as well as the female locker room because they now identify as female. I sent an email to the teachers involved and received a phone call from the principal. He verbally reiterated that under Joanna Ford's direction and their legal counsel that the student can use both the locker room and the bathroom. I expressed that the school was in clear violation of federal policy. This Trump administration issued an executive order restricting that biological males from participating in sports and accessing female locker rooms. That day, I filed a civil rights complaint on behalf of my daughter with the Department of Justice. It has now been referred to the Department of Education. The situation went from bad to worse. The girl just wanted their privacy and their locker room back without the biological male present. A few days later, the biological male student was changing in the girls' locker room. Feeling violated, the girls made their choice to not change into their PE clothes with the biological male student present. The next day, the principal pulled girls into the office questioning them. The same day, the assistant superintendent, Joanna Ford, Kathy Van Treese, who is the assistant principal, and multiple other teachers came into the girls' locker room. They made them change into their PE uniform. This went on all week with the addition of Ginger Logerman, who was part of the Deerfield School District. My daughter refused to take part in having her privacy being violated. She ran out and called me for help. Principal Wegley offered my daughter a new PE class. The answer was absolutely no. She is not changing for the remainder of the year, and she is not changing anything about her schedule. Since last week's extremely controversial school board meeting, I have tried to raise awareness about what has happened. I have received overwhelming support from all over the world, J.K. Riley Gaines, and Caitlin Wheeler's family, to name a few. But most importantly, I have received thousands of emails cheering me on from moms and dads cheering me on for fighting a battle that no one has ever wanted to take on. I fight this battle for girls because trans kids get to use any bathroom in which they identify with. They get 3 different options: gender neutral, female, male, while girls were left with no option. Why do our girls have less rights? Sadly, our own state rep thinks my daughter is a liar. He doesn't want people to hear their story. He wants their voices silenced and to pretend that this isn't an issue. Textbook victim shaming. A child is very, very sad. Is that what people want you to remember you by? The man that victim shamed middle school girls on the House floor? I will continue to work and advocate for Title IX. I hope my legacy as a mom will be remembered as an advocate for girls only in private spaces. This fight just got started. Remember, the board meeting was just a week ago, and I just, on my way here, got a phone call from Secretary McMahon that an investigation has been opened. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Folks, my name is State Representative Adam Niemerg. I represent the 102nd District in Southeast Illinois, and I want to thank Shannon for making the drive here to be an advocate, Wheeler family for being here as well, and Nicole, thank you for your bravery, and Kate, thank you for your bravery. This means a lot. You're facing a lot of opposition here, a lot of people that don't want to listen and don't want to know what's going on, which takes me into the subject of why I'm here today. On Tuesday, I address this issue on the floor, and something that we need to talk about in the state of Illinois. But what did the other side do? Rather than saying we need to listen, we have a situation here, we need to take Kate's word for it. We need to have an investigation. We need to have our due diligence. That didn't happen. When I brought it up on the floor, Representative Morgan decided to defame me as a state representative, saying that I do not represent my district, that I am an embarrassment to this House, that I should not be in Springfield, and the people of my own district don't want me here. Then what he did next was unbelievable. He said the quiet part out loud, folks, what they really truly believe, what the leftist ideology really stands for. He said, it's a lie. What I was saying was a lie. What Kate went through was a lie. What Nicole is advocating for is a lie. So saying the quiet part out loud is why we're here today. To stop the radical left's agenda, to stand for girls, to stand for women's rights, to stand for free locker rooms, to stand for the fact that men and women were created as men and women. There are two genders, and that men should not be in female locker rooms. They should not be competing in male sports. And to shine light on the fact that the Democrat Party has left women's rights altogether. They do not stand for the folks that are being in locker rooms, placed in harm's way. They do not stand for women's rights when it comes to men competing in women's sports. They call women liars. They said Kate's story was a lie. Folks, I'm here to tell you, it's the truth, and it is not a lie, and I want to thank you, Kate, for what you have done. This isn't just a state of Illinois issue. This isn't just a Lake County or Chicagoland issue. This is a national issue that demands attention. I am so glad that there is a federal investigation that's going to be conducted on this issue. So Kate and Nicole, thank you. And the entire family's here, folks. They're all here. Thank you for your courage. Thank you. And with that, we'll take questions. It's okay.
Talk loudly, folks.
Sorry.
Speak loudly, please.
Frankly, I was embarrassed for. Frankly, I was embarrassed for him because it was shocking. He doesn't have children that go to Shepherd. How would he know specific things that would call it a lie? It was embarrassing and it was shameful that he would say that.
Is there any considerations of legal action maybe taken against him?
Right now, I'm just worrying about my daughter. That's all I care about right now, and making sure that policy is enforced. All I care about is that the executive order is enforced and making sure our girls are protected. That's all I care about. Bob Morgan is the least of my worries right now. It's embarrassing for him, frankly.
I want to back up a bit. You said you heard from Linda McMahon?
Yes.
Did she call you today?
She called me personally today.
She say?
That an investigation is being opened from the Department of Education.
There's a possibility the Department of Education or the executive order could be diminished today. Do you have any concerns about your case having the resources to go all the way through?
I think everything's going to be being pushed through even faster.
Folks, the notice for this news conference said same-sex sports, which I assume means trans kids playing sports. A boy who wants to be a girl playing girls' sports. Is this, concerns notwithstanding, is this a thing? How many people are there who are trans kids playing in what you would say would be the wrong gender?
Well, that particular issue, we're going to be addressing that in another press conference. We're having this press conference to talk about this issue here today. We're going to have another press conference to talk about that issue. We're awaiting a response from Illinois High School Sports Association on their procedures on allowing trans individuals to play in sports, so stay tuned on that issue.
Well, as I said, the concerns notwithstanding, there aren't many pauses here for the big news conference, investigations, this, that, on something that affects a small number of kids.
Well,
Two,
the
three,
issue
4, 5.
the issue is that under current, the way that Illinois Sports High Schools Administration has written up the parameters for children to play sports, in their parameters, it does list a way for a trans individual, a biological male, to play in women's sports. That's what we're talking about. We want to talk about this issue, but again, we're awaiting a response for the clear definition on what they're doing. It is in writing right now, but we're awaiting their response to comply with Trump's executive order.
Representative Howard, you said that woke is dead in Illinois. Is that really the case? I mean, you've got
Well, that better be the case.
minority and Democrats push back every time you guys raise something.
Yeah, so Illinois is having a hard time. J.B. Pritzker is having a hard time coming to terms that woke is indeed dead with the voters, okay? But it's something that obviously the administration ran on and they won and they're pushing it. So, J.B. Pritzker needs to make a decision. Is he going to, are we going to come back to common sense and come back to reality and start educating our kids and quit indoctrinating our kids, or are we not? Because he's putting at risk billions of dollars in federal funding by doing this for a political narrative. And Dave, to your point, we don't care if it's 1, 2, or 3 people. Number one, we don't know that. It needs to be 0 people, okay? That's the bottom line.
So, hold on. Real quick, State Representative Martin McLaughlin, just to add to that. So I am in Lake County, one of the remaining Republican representatives. I've coached girls sports in Lake County for over 21 years. I've got 5 daughters. This is not a singular issue in Lake County. In September, we had an issue at Libertyville High School, School District 198, which received local attention. So I am personally aware of over 50 families that have had complaints about exactly the same issue. But what these families are worried about is progressive, passive discrimination. Suddenly a student won't be making the dance team. Suddenly a captain on the basketball team will be benched. This is what's happening if these students don't go along with the agenda, and it's wrong. So this is not a singular issue for this family. Thank God this family has stood up and gotten attention to the issue. I said on the floor last week, as a father of 5 daughters and coaching, it's wrong to have stronger, taller, faster people in sports, but it's even more offensive to have a young girl have to go through this. Why are we making the majority of these young girls have to change? Why aren't we having the individual that's having the issue go to those locker rooms? It's so simple. I said on the floor, let's go to Cyndi Lauper. Girls just want to have fun. Let them in Illinois, and let's stop all the silliness.
Representative Wilhour, you said something that tripped something in my mind. You said, by a big margin, we sent Trump back to the White House, and that he's doing, basically you said he's doing the right things. But it reminds me, yesterday I heard a speech by Speaker Welch. He said, Republicans, Democrats, no matter what you think of Trump, we didn't vote for chaos, we didn't vote for dismantling federal departments, hiring people, we didn't vote for tariffs, changing your mind on tariffs every other day. I mean, do we really embrace 100% of Donald Trump?
Well, you talk about chaos. What do you think is happening in Illinois? This is chaos. What's happening in Deerfield, Illinois, where they are forcing girls to change in front of biological males? That's chaos, all right? Tariffs, all of this other stuff, that stuff notwithstanding, it's absolute chaos what's going on here. And, are any of the media members going to ask J.B. Pritzker if he's okay with this? Has anybody asked him that? Because I think that we need to put him on record on this. This is not okay, and J.B. Pritzker needs to be confronted on that.
After you're fired, and a Chevy Impala coming from Canada is tariffed. I mean, can you be all right with
Next
that?
question. Yes.
The Deerfield School District on Tuesday released a statement saying that they have private changing booths available to all students, that they wouldn't force anyone to change in front of another student. Stewardess or any of the reps.
Why would they have to accommodate them? Why would the person that is confused about their gender ideology, why wouldn't they use the private one? Why would you force these people that were absolutely uncomfortable with that into that situation? It should be the other way around. But you can, if you want to expand on it.
There's gender neutral bathrooms. Why would that would be the issue? There's 25 to 30 girls in the PE class, and there's 4 different private spaces. How would if every single one of those girls wanted to change, how would they make it to PE in time if every one of those girls wanted to change in a private space?
Really haven't heard much about mental health in all of this, not just of those who may be dealing with gender identity.
And also, what is the point of having a gender neutral bathroom if that child is not going to use it?
Mental health on both sides of this, right? Not just those who may be struggling with their gender identity, but also with victims who may be thrust into this against their will to change with somebody of the opposite sex. Really haven't heard any conversation about that necessarily. How do we address that on both sides?
It's a serious problem. And nobody's caring about that, especially when you have Bob Morgan attacking and calling my daughter a liar and all the victims a liar.
Representative Wilhour, you didn't answer my question. Tariffs, if a Chevy Impala is made in Canada.
Let's talk about
you know,
that.
we're here to talk about this. We're here to talk about this particular press conference, and thank you for your questions. Thank you.
Representative Wilhour, I wish you'd answer my
I
question.
will answer your question. I answered it on the floor of the House the other day, but we're here to focus on what's going on in Deerfield, Illinois right now, respectfully, Dave. Does anybody else have a question?
Why don't you guys play that game with the other side? You don't play
Okay.
with us.
Okay, thank you
All right,
very much,
thank
folks.
you.
We appreciate your time.
Appreciate it, guys.
This is a bullshit game.
Whoa,
You're
hold on.
trying to say somebody talked to you this way, blah, blah, blah. What is your response? Get out of here.
You don't get to talk to me that way, Travis Aiken.